The world is watching, holding its breath as a new chapter of history unfolds before our eyes. Tensions between the United States and Iran, simmering for years, have finally erupted into open conflict, sending shockwaves through the international community. Israel, a close U.S. ally and a key player in the region, has launched major attacks deep inside Iran, transforming the crisis from a war of words into a direct and dangerous military confrontation. The most dramatic development so far, Israel's coordinated bombings of Iran's energy infrastructure, marks a turning point in the conflict. 5 major energy sites around Tehran, including vital oil storage depots and fuel distribution facilities, were targeted in a series of precision strikes. These attacks were designed to cripple Iran's economy by destroying its vital oil and gas reserves, cutting off a lifeline that supports millions of livelihoods. In total, 30 fuel and oil depots were hit, resulting in massive explosions and uncontrollable fires that raged for hours, overwhelming emergency services. Thick, black smoke blanketed Tehran, turning day into an eerie twilight. The city's skyline disappeared under a cloud of pollution, spreading fear and uncertainty among millions of residents. This was not just a military strike, it directly impacted civilians, forcing families to flee their homes and creating chaos in the streets. For many, the future has never felt more uncertain. The conflict's effects are global. When major powers clash, the world feels the shockwaves, economies tremble, markets react, and leaders scramble to respond. Israel's attack on Iran's oil supply has immediate and far-reaching consequences for the global economy and international security, sending oil prices soaring and sparking fears of further escalation. Every new development raises urgent questions about diplomacy, regional stability, and the motives behind these aggressive actions. World leaders are now under immense pressure to find solutions and prevent a wider war. The situation is changing rapidly, with the potential to reshape the future of the Middle East and beyond. Each hour brings new headlines, new risks, and new uncertainties. Understanding this conflict is crucial for everyone, not just those in the region. Its outcome will influence global politics, economies, and the lives of ordinary people everywhere. The attacks on Iran's oil facilities triggered an environmental catastrophe, the scale of which is still unfolding. In a matter of hours, decades of progress in environmental protection were undone, as flames engulfed critical infrastructure. Massive fires sent toxic black smoke billowing over Tehran, blanketing the city in a haze filled with dangerous chemicals from burning oil. The air became thick and hazardous, making it difficult for residents to breathe. Residents witnessed black, oily rain, a sign of severe pollution. This rain, laced with carcinogens and heavy metals, seeped into the ground and water systems, leaving a lasting mark on the environment. Experts warn the smoke poses a significant cancer risk and could have devastating long-term health effects. Hospitals quickly filled with people suffering from respiratory distress, and doctors fear a surge in chronic illnesses. The disaster echoes Kuwait's burning oil wells during the Gulf War, with consequences that may last generations. Scientists studying those past events found lingering toxins in the soil and air decades later. Oily rain contaminates soil and water, threatening farmland and drinking supplies. Farmers now face ruined crops and poisoned fields, while communities worry about the safety of their food and water. The ecosystem around Tehran is at risk, and cleanup will be difficult and costly. Wildlife habitats are destroyed, and rivers once teeming with life now carry pollutants downstream. The environmental damage may be permanent in some areas, changing the landscape forever. Forests and fields may never fully recover, and some species could disappear entirely from the region. Modern warfare's consequences extend far beyond the battlefield, harming innocent civilians and the planet. The scars left behind are not just physical, but ecological and generational. The decision to bomb oil facilities was strategic, but it unleashed a crisis that will haunt Iran for years. The true cost of this action will be measured in lost health, livelihoods, and natural beauty. Children and the elderly are especially vulnerable to the toxic air and water. For them, every breath and every sip carries new risks, and their futures are now uncertain. This tragedy is a stark reminder: war's hidden costs can be as deadly as its bombs. The environment, once damaged, cannot be easily restored, and its loss is felt by all. The destruction of Iran's oil infrastructure sent shockwaves through the global economy, oil prices doubled overnight, jumping from $55 to over $110 per barrel. Gasoline prices in the US spiked at record speed, hitting consumers hard. The cost of transportation soared, making everything more expensive worldwide. Experts warn this could be just the beginning. If the conflict continues, oil could reach $200 per barrel. The Strait of Hormuz, a vital oil route, saw tanker traffic collapse by 90%, choking global supply. Iran's military threatened further retaliation, raising fears of even greater disruption. Economic warfare now threatens billions who depend on stable energy prices. The world faces its most severe energy crisis since the 1970s. Instability in the Gulf could plunge the global economy into chaos. The conflict escalated further with a dramatic and unexpected change in Iran's leadership, sending shockwaves throughout the region and beyond. In a stunning turn of events, a U.S. smart bomb strike reportedly killed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, along with several moderate leaders who had been advocating for dialogue and restraint. This unprecedented attack created a sudden and dangerous power vacuum at the very top of Iran's government, leaving the nation in a state of confusion and uncertainty. In the chaos that followed, Mojtaba Khamenei, the late leader's hardline son, was quickly named the new supreme leader, consolidating power with remarkable speed. Mojtaba's deep and long-standing ties to the Revolutionary Guard signal a shift toward a more aggressive and uncompromising Iranian response, both at home and abroad. Hopes for diplomacy have faded rapidly. Under Mojtaba's leadership, Iran's approach is expected to be defined by confrontation, revenge, and a hardening of anti-Western sentiment. The shift from an older, established leader to a younger, more radical figure marks a dangerous new chapter for Iran and the entire Middle East, raising fears of further instability. The international community now faces a much tougher path to peace, as world leaders scramble to respond to the rapidly changing situation and prevent further escalation. Engaging with Iran will be more difficult than ever, and the risk of a wider regional war has grown significantly, threatening to draw in neighboring countries and global powers alike. The path to peace, already narrow and fraught with obstacles, may now be nearly impossible to find, as the world watches anxiously for what comes next. After Israel's devastating attacks, the U.S. publicly distanced itself, claiming Israel acted alone. The Trump administration insisted it was not informed in advance, hoping to manage global backlash. U.S. officials, including allies of President Trump, expressed concern about the impact on American consumers. However, many analysts see this as a coordinated good cop, bad cop strategy. Israel plays the aggressor, the U.S. calls for calm, while both pursue shared goals. Despite public disagreements, U.S. support for Israel remains strong. Critics argue that if the U.S. truly opposed Israel's actions, it would cut aid or diplomatic backing. The lack of real consequences suggests the rift is for show. This strategy lets both countries achieve military aims while managing political fallout. The alliance remains intact, even as the world questions their motives. As the Iran war intensified, a major scandal involving President Trump resurfaced in the U.S. New Epstein files were released containing explosive information and implicating powerful figures. The timing raised suspicions of a wag-the-dog scenario, using war to distract from domestic scandal. The Epstein files threaten the reputations of many, including Trump, just as the nation faces war. This overlap of foreign conflict and scandal leaves the public questioning what's really driving events. The Epstein files include an FBI document detailing serious allegations against Donald Trump. A woman claims Epstein introduced her to Trump when she was just 13, and that Trump assaulted her. The document's delayed release has fueled speculation of a cover-up. The timing of its release amid war suggests a motive to bury the story. For a president facing such allegations, escalating a foreign conflict could shift public attention. The Iran war dominates headlines, pushing the Epstein scandal out of focus. This raises troubling questions. Are decisions about war influenced by personal scandals? The line between national interest and self-interest blurs. Millions are affected by choices that may be driven by a leader's need for distraction. Is the war about security or about shielding the powerful from accountability? A darker theory links the Epstein scandal directly to the war with Iran. Some allege Israel is blackmailing Trump with compromising material gathered by Epstein, a suspected Mossad agent. Reports claim Epstein's homes were wired for surveillance, collecting evidence on powerful guests. If true, Trump could be forced to support a war that benefits Israel, even at America's expense. This theory explains Trump's unwavering support for Israel and the timing of the war. It also connects Epstein's ties to Israeli intelligence and the sudden escalation of conflict. The idea of foreign blackmail controlling U.S. policy is shocking, but it fits the pattern of recent events. The war, the scandal, and the alliance all point to a deeper web of influence and control. U.S. and Israeli actions have fractured the international community. Even neutral countries like Switzerland have condemned the war, signaling a global crisis of trust. America's moral authority is eroding as allies distance themselves and call for sanctions. This division opens the door for China and Russia to expand their influence, supporting Iran. The conflict risks becoming a global standoff, reminiscent of the Cold War. The breakdown of alliances makes the world more dangerous and unpredictable. The war, energy crisis, and Epstein scandal are interconnected, reshaping global politics. Secret deals and blackmail now threaten peace and stability. The path to diplomacy is harder than ever. The world faces a future where trust is scarce, and the risk of wider war looms large.